people. As a first of all, we are people. They don't have to give me a privilege because I'm a gypsy or I'm with a black skin or whatever. Treat me as you. Treat me as a human first of all, and then I don't care what is the level of sociology that we put in label to the people. Minority as a Muslim, minority as a gypsy, minority as a Serbs or Albanians or whatever.
Okay, I have been involved. I have been a race driver for 2 years now. However, I grew up in a family that have been race drivers. So basically, that was my surrounding. Most of my life is what I always knew is racing. So racing family. So there's something about when I hear the sound or when I smell the burning fuel that just makes my hair really stand. And of course at times I have this adrenaline rush, and that's a fear, but it's a kind of fear that I'm addicted to. So far I'm the only woman, and I hope this reality will change. If a woman wants to do something, she can accomplish it, and doesn't depend on the society. I think the society doesn't block women to achieve their dreams and what they want to do. If I'm speaking as far as concerning driving, it is a bit of a shock, but then again, that's a shock around the world. I mean, you don't have many women in general. There is a lot of women that race, but it's still a big story everywhere in the world that you go. And when you find women that are doing these dangerous, more adrenaline sports. So if there's a will, there's a way. I would argue that. I think everywhere we go, there's more opportunities for men. I still believe it's a man's world. But then again, like I said, if a woman really wants to achieve something, she will find a way. Women are one of the greatest forces, and as far as I know from last statistics, there's more women voters now in Kosovo than men. We have a great youth because Kosovo has about 70% of its population 30 and under, so we are very eager to explore and explode in that manner, that we want to touch all spheres of life, be able to move around, be able to work, bring new stuff. And I think the Kosovo youth has the capacity and has the will and has the wish to do that. And if we could just only have the support of the rest of Europe and the world to understand that we have a beautiful youth and it's eager just to work and to develop just like the neighboring countries. Has racing taught me lessons in life. It taught me to chase my dream and that I can do it if I want to do it. And because I wanted to do it, even my father and my brother were a bit skeptic when I wanted to enter the race. But I never stopped fighting for it and arguing for it. And so, it has taught me basically that anything in life that you fight for, you can have.
We have both daytime jobs, a working language assistant,
and customer asset.
And in the evening we do this hostel.
European. A person who has culture. One thing what I can say, because what I seen on the hostel, we had people from all over the world, like from Australia, all over the Asia, Europe. We had even people from Brazil, Argentina, and after 2 or 3 days, you can see that everybody is the same, no matter where he comes or his nationality. The people are the same. So it's very hard to know what is European, what is an Asian.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, here definitely yes, and let's hope that we can rent. I mean, if you are talking about business, I mean, living wise, definitely here. Business wise, this is going good. So hopefully we will rent more apartments and hopefully the old entrance. Let's see, but definitely hostel expanding and in Pristina. Tolerance is very, very tolerant. Yeah.
I don't think so. No, let's say if you think about the other minorities who lives in Kosovo, we cannot say that it's very tolerant.
Kosovo is a multi-ethnic place. I don't want to hide in my enclave anymore. I hate checkpoints. I hate borders. I hate to be told to, keep it low, keep it down, not speak my language if I'm in some place in Kosovo. And this freedom of speech that I had, I didn't know that. Talking about the freedom, it's something that you don't know you have until you lose it. There is an interesting story talking about the freedom. I was, for maybe more than 2 years, my face was on the city buses promoting freedom of movement and other freedoms, and I never took the bus because I was scared. And at that time I was studying in Pristina. I was the first Serbian student to study in Pristina after the war, thanks to USAID scholarship for minority students. And that was, let's say, the biggest thing I ever did in my life, the biggest accomplishment. I can be today the president of a country. There's nothing to compare with that change I made in middle of Pristina, sitting with my Albanian students, friends, and studying with them. When I was thinking about this interview today, I remembered my first day at school, and I went to the classroom before everyone. I went earlier. I decided to be a good student, and how people were coming, nobody sat next to me because they knew. We met on the entrance exams, and there were rumors going on that there's this Serbian girl coming to study with them. Nobody was sitting next to me, not even in the row next to me. So I was pretty lonely and okay, I want to make friends, but I don't want to be judged based on my nationality and my name. However, maybe a month or so after, people, when they started making friendships with me, they did it for the sake of the person who I am and my values that I share and what kind of friend I am. It should be like that in the world, right? I spent 4 years there. It's nothing about the name or the nationality.
A lot of people in the world think of Kosovo in terms of religious terms, as if it was a religious conflict. We at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we thought that we need to address this issue and to actually provide and to offer Kosovo as a platform for interfaith dialogue. The history of tolerance between the religions in Kosovo is much more longer and much more important than the incidence of interfaith violence.
The conflicts of the 90s in former Yugoslavia were basically secular conflicts. There is no question about that. But in absolutizing the conflicts, of course, everything is welcome, including religion. And of course, the churches and other religious communities have not been particularly alert to the danger of these approaches. In fact, in some cases, the hierarchical structures in these communities freely lend themselves to service in favor of the national cause.
Very often religion, especially when it is associated with a certain nation, with a certain political project, and associated very tightly, it tends to then be used for the purposes of generating conflict. Almost no matter what the precepts of religion are, once religion is identified with politics, it almost inevitably ends up being an instrument in conflict when conflicts are about brewing, about to happen.
It was unacceptable what religion doing and in churches, institutions, especially in the Balkan. They started in 1991 to function as a military formation institution, not as a religion calling its place. And it was horror what they are doing in preparing people for ethnical cleansing, war crimes, genocide. So the responsibility of church in post-conflict period is bigger here than other parts of the world, because religion takes its own responsibility for the bloody war among us, you know.
There are many examples of this sort of thing where specific churches have become a part of the war effort. This has to be confronted. And it can be confronted only within communities. It cannot be done from the outside because it will have no good effect.
I really don't like to talk about that. It's not good. Really, it brings back bad memories, really. And it's like...
It was a emotional time for everybody, even for us abroad.
I can even, like, I saw that all houses are burned. I saw the column of the people they are moving. That I started crying with my mother. I was with my mother, and then even you can smell the people burned inside of the houses.
I was 10 years old, and one police or arm, I don't know, a soldier was. He asked me what's your name? And I couldn't tell him that my name is Azdran, like I'm Albanian, and I told him my name is Ivan.
Ivan, who was your best friend?
Yeah, so he was my best friend at that time, and that's how he told me, okay, go home. He thought that I was a Serbian.
When my grandmother came from her refugee times in Montenegro in '99, as the war ended, she had to pass through the northern city of Mitrovica. She was stopped, the bus, she was stopped by paramilitary Serbs, and finding that she was Albanian, one of them took a knife and carved a cross in her forehead.
My friends Albanians always wanted to for me to apologize to them for something that I didn't do. I was a child, and a child that suffered in the war just they did. I was a refugee too. But my point was to talk to them about what happened, just in order not to happen again. Because it's up to me and it's up to them to stop it and to build a different environment for us. We need to learn about the world that surrounds us, and we can do it together. We learn from each other. I mean, I'm very happy with even the situation right now, how the politicians didn't get us into war, because all these hate speech in the media and everywhere, they should be example to us, not the ones making us hate each other. Because people live together. I was studying normally in Pristina. which nobody could actually believe me back in my community. But I did. You hate only something that you don't have knowledge about. Once you meet the person, once you get experience that on your own skin, you grow up in yourself. You grow up into another person, which is more beautiful, which is more needed in this world. So you need to just open yourself to hear people and sometimes to listen more than you talk.
We are here in Korea, in Seoul, in one of these global gatherings of faith leaders, religious leaders, people who deal with interfaith dialogue. And it's a very interesting juncture of time because actually there's never been more fights and more violence in the name of religion. We look what's happening in Iraq, in Syria, elsewhere in the world, in Nigeria, and we realize that actually people have to discuss how to move forward. Well, I think Kosovo can teach a lesson to all the countries, not only Korea. Part of our public diplomacy approach is interfaith dialogue, getting people to Kosovo from various faiths around the world, secular leaders, ecumenical leaders, in order to show that actually Kosovo is a hotbed of tolerance for centuries, in which despite overwhelming majority of one faith, there has been place and there will be place in our constitutional order for religious minorities. On the other hand, Korea can definitely teach us, because they also had their independence struggle, that after independence, what comes next is more work. Work, work. It doesn't stop. Independence is just the beginning, and if you want to move forward rapidly, there is no other solution but 24/7 sleeves up and work.
So we are at Hostel Han, and we are open since 2 years and 5 months. We have expanded since 5 months, so basically we used to have only 18 beds capacity, but now it's 25 beds.
Can I play it? You feel me as much as you like, that's cool. Play me my song.
Don't you lie to me? Tell me where did you sleep last night? In the pines, where the sun never shines.
Actually, when we started, we were the second one. And now there are 7 hostels. And we heard that the 8th one is open, but that's not very true. It's a good sign that the backpackers, they are coming more and more here in Kosovo now. It's a good industry. Yeah, we won the hostel award for year 2014, the best hostel in Kosovo. We are hoping to win it again. And we are now also part of Balkan's Best Hostels. There is some kind of like a group organization, which is all the hostels in Balkans, which are 91+% in the reviews, and so we were invited by them. Yeah, so that's very good. Yeah. Well, I quit my full-time job. It was a very good job. I was lucky, and then now I quit that since 2 months now. I'm only doing with hostel and with the topic. of course, it's not well paid. Like, you know, you don't get that much money, but at least you are the boss of your own, if I can say that. More free and you can get drunk on duty. Well, for the moment, as I told you, we're expanding the hostel, and the plan was like to stay like this at least for 2 years. But you never know if any of the neighbors will rent his apartment. We'll probably take the chance. And yeah, the second business that I opened is the tavern, the small restaurant. So I don't know, let's see where that one will take me. Maybe the third restaurant, or second, who knows? Yeah.
Last night. In the pines where the sun never shines, I will shiver the whole night through. I will shiver the
And on this, I want to introduce also Flamor, the manager of the hostel. Come here, Flamor. He is with us here since the very beginning.
Hello guys, hello camera, hello viewers.
And how do you all know one another?
Well, I know Azdran from the band which we are together, called The Glasses. We've been friends since a long time and started the band, and now we're here.
I came with an idea only when I was in Skopje in Tirana. I saw the thing, and when I came back I saw on the website. I checked on the internet, there were no hostels at the time.
Just one guest house.
Yeah. So then I explained Benny this thing, and then he took the risk. Because of course I had the idea.
While we will have an beer and
So he took the risk of money, I had the idea, so that's how we did this together.
Ha? Das nede? Abonneyin. Ha, Чувам не гледа? Чувам?
We are at Taverna Miched, or Miched Taverna. I guess I just hope for the best. That's what I can say now. I guess if people try, something will come up definitely. If you just do nothing and just like hope that somebody will help you out, then definitely there is nothing there. Because here I had no help from nobody. I went to a bank and took like a loan. I didn't expect money or I will have from nobody else. So I just took the risk, took loan, the same as I did for hostel, and it's been good so far. And I have lots of reasons why to stay here. The business with hostel is going good, and then I have something here as well. Now I'm starting a tavern, so I have lots of reasons, you know, like. That's it. Like I have all the friends here as well, you know. I cannot just like start something new in 32. When you're 18, maybe, or 19 or 20, I don't know. But like in 32, come on, cannot go and wash the toilets abroad.
It just kind of happened. I got into music, met few people, and yeah, like right from the first song that we published, it went really well, and yeah.
Pata breakur, pata folur, pata bar. Unë lutesha për ty, të më kishe ti në zemër sa do pak. Dhe sa
In the Netherlands, it's really organized, everything is really sorted out. You have your life sorted out. Everything is arranged, and here it can be a bit, yeah, chaotic, but yeah, that's the biggest difference. I guess because they felt that the war was gonna expand to Kosovo. It was already starting in Croatia and other countries, so they thought it was better for us, for me, to get me safe and to move to the Netherlands. The first response is like they think it's still like a war place. They think they don't have a lot of knowledge about Kosovo, but I feel that they have sympathy and they feel bad for me. That's the first reaction that I get. And then I'll explain to them that we're rebuilding and we're progressing and we're getting there. We're a new country, but everything is going well. Like you have a few moments where you see that they don't treat you like they would treat their own, and yeah, I have had that. I think I've just missed out on learning more about my own culture, and yeah, I kind of missed that, and now I'm just catching up and I'm learning a lot of stuff. It's hard because it's new. Home is, of course, where my family is, and I have family here, I have family in the Netherlands, but when I'm here, of course, I feel more at home because I really can't explain it, but I do feel more at home in Kosovo because it's my people. They don't treat you differently. You're their own.
I believe that Kosovo is going through a transition because we all know that we live in a patriarchal and very traditional society, and going from that to a tolerant society will require lots of work from individuals and from the civil society and from the will of the government. What I would like to say that things are moving here, people are fighting and people are working and living. I mean, like, of course that not every group, social group is accepted, but I don't think that in any world every group is well accepted. I would like to tell them that we have lots of things to do, and there are people who are committed to make social changes in Kosovo. A minority is every group that doesn't belong to majority. So actually being a minority means that you are different, and just for being different, unfortunately, you have to fight to become a majority. Freedom is when an individual can be who or he or she is. Freedom is when you can walk freely as being gay and not being scared that you will be beaten up or being judged for what you are. Freedom is when you don't have to give explanations to people what's your identity and to what you belong. Freedom to me is respect of diversity. My point of view and actually what I'm committed to is that everyone to be treated equally. Actually, equality is what we are fighting for. What's different is that each groups have their own specifics on how to achieve the equality, because the non-acceptance for each of the groups is different. Some of the groups are threatened by death, some of the groups are threatened by not being accepted at their work, at the family, so the specifics are different, but the main goal is actually to be equal, to not be questioned what you are in the end. Yeah, actually, it's the same struggle that everyone has. Like every other citizen, Kosovo citizen, we are very limited when it comes to travel. It requires very high struggle to run for documents and everything else. I truly believe that if people could travel, even the awareness would change much faster than it's changing now.
So do you see your future here or somewhere else outside of Kosovo?
I mean, of course I see it here, you know, even though I would like to try to live somewhere else, but what would I do if I'll go, let's say, in Europe? So I will start from the beginning, which but for the moment I'm established here, but the thing I would like to do is just travel, let's see what's there and what we don't have it here, or something like that. So we are at the Mish Bar, the place where everything started for us. Our parents' history is way different, because back time when they were young, everything was state property. So having a business at the time, you know, it was not something like, let's say, in common for that time. So when I said, come on, I want to start a hostel and a bar, you know, they didn't like it a lot in the beginning. They said, oh, you have a steady job and stuff like that. But I said, come on, I want to try. So I want to have my own business. In the beginning, yeah, it was tough for our parents to accept, like, but now they're happy. They see us like successful sons now.
Let's wake up. I mean, it's the first time that I come to Venice for as participant in Venice Biennial, and it's the first time also that Kosovo is in Venice as with a Kosovo pavilion. So yes, it's a really good, beautiful reason to be here.
There's nothing you can understand, just something that makes you proud, and there's something that makes you stop.
The only limitation I felt is the limitation that comes from me, especially in beginning. I was living in Berlin, preparing another show, and I received this email, please come to Kosovo to represent us in Venice Biennial. What? Oh my God! And then I called Alvaro. I mean, it's beautiful, but this whole happy moment that becomes also complex. I was reflecting on identity because, like, basically I was so unsure. And I am still so unsure where we are going, you know. Like, stick on Albania, like old idea of the new reality or the future reality, like Kosovar. To go in Europe, like, especially now, it's like really complex because even the Europe is so confused. And the only sure people maybe is us, that we want to arrive here, like. Sometimes this desire to be free, it's in reality, we are even not prepared for it. Like, Constitution is meant to give limits, but also the freedom, right? We are in a place that all of a sudden the whole long trip and the desire to come to the freedom started to become true, and it was a starting point in 99, right? Like, it was not a arriving point. It was a starting point for me, and the all years of going to the freedom, now it's the period of shaping it. And the sculpturing the freedom, it's mixed with being afraid of it in a way, because we constantly shift this limit between the desire to be free, but also it brings you the being afraid about consequences of it. We have to be careful, I think, and we have to be conscious about it, and resist and fight to really shift in the right direction, because if you see and you know what democracy is like long trip, and every nation built its own democracy, and what it have sense in a local kind of locally what have sense, and it have to be mixed with with what the nation come from. We as a young generation, we can shape things. Like, we have this immense chance, maybe our kids will not have, to first do Venice Biennial, be the first one that has like a certain bar that be the first one who had a certain company that maybe in Germany exists since 50 years, and you have these chances, to be the first one. It's kind of we are so young, kind of, and we have this historical, that to say, moments, because this again never happened before. I hope it will never stop.
Sister, when she came home from school, she was 2 years older, and she had boys in her room. That's what I heard, that's right.